right here is easily one of the most powerful men in the world right now. Is he going to die over the next 2 years? Here we see the chart of a very, very, very powerful Libra stellium. Neptune indicates that he's a Neptunian power alien, while Saturn on the MC indicates high positions of authority. However, what we want to look at is his North Node in Aries and what is opposite his Libra right now, namely Saturn. And this message applies to all Libra risings and Libra suns. The Reaper has come for you. If you haven't seen my Saturn Reaper video, it's somewhere on TikTok, or you can find it on YouTube, but I definitely recommend you check it. Here we have the chart of Pop Smoke. His sun is at the end of Cancer, all right? Pop Smoke died February 19th, 2020. And as you can see, Saturn was directly opposite his sun. This is the chart of young Dolph. As you can see, his sun is at the beginning of Leo. Young Dolph died November 17th, 2021. And as you can see, Saturn was not at the end of Aquarius, but at the beginning of Aquarius, opposite his early Leo sun. Now, given that Saturn is also authority and government structure, we see that this is also applied during Saturn in Aquarius to very prominent Leos. As you can see, he has his sun at 22 degrees, and he was arrested in May of 2022. Unsurprisingly, in May of 2022, you guessed it, Saturn was opposite his Leo sun. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Tory Lanez as well. Arrested in July 2020, but found guilty December 2022. And yep, Saturn was opposite his sun in Leo. But yes, it also applies to rising signs as well, because what was in Trump's 7th house during certain periods? Well, for one, we know the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago when Saturn was in Aquarius, but that falls in his 6th house. Let's go for something more directly opposite. Ah yes, the assassination attempt that most people think was staged or some people believe is real. September 15th, 2024. Trust me, that shit was real. And would you look at that? September 15th, 2024, Saturn was in Pisces. And Pisces, of course, is a 7th house of open enemies. So, as of now, we have revealed the Saturn transits through Capricorn and how it affected Cancer, Saturn through Aquarius and how it affected its opposition to Leos. And now we're going to look at Saturn through Pisces that was opposite Virgo. This is the chart of Sneeko, chosen by destiny, okay? And as we can see, Pisces is opposite his Virgo sun. Well, we know Sneeko was banned on Kick October of 2024. And yep, this is getting predictable. Saturn was opposite his Virgo sun. Of course, how can we forget Sean Diddy Combs with his Virgo moon, who was arrested September of 2024. You guessed it. Saturn is opposite his moon. So that brings us to Libra, now that Saturn is in Aries. It's not a coincidence that Lil Durk, also a Libra, is awaiting trial for his pending case. Almost seems like a pattern. This is why if you see the shift of people trying to expose Jay-Z, a Libra moon, or Kim Kardashian, another Libra sun, or other Libra figures, you know it's not coming out of nowhere. Especially considering that November 21st, 2024, Netanyahu was issued arrest warrant. Here we do see Jupiter in Gemini in his 7th house of open enemies, and the North Node getting ready to finish its opposition to his Libra stellium. Now that the South Node is transiting his Saturn and South Node, it would be interesting to see what happens to him over the next 2 years as Saturn not only transits his North Node and fourth house region, but opposes his Libra stellium. As we've referenced, here is today with Saturn beginning in Aries, which will retrograde back in Pisces before it returns by next year. However, this is the chart in 2 years from now when Saturn will make a full opposition to a sun by the time Mars starts to transit his sign. Now, is this enough information to say he's going to get killed, arrested, or die? Absolutely not. As we can see with most examples, most of the people who went through the opposition actually survived. And not only that, as soon as Saturn left Aquarius and went into Pisces, Young Thug eventually got released from prison, and Tory Lanez is still seeking an appeal. So as we can see, Saturn oppositions karmically test an individual and put them in the face of a lot of danger. Of course, whether they survive or not, I think has a lot to do with the karma they have and how well they can maneuver through each situation. That being said, comment your thoughts down below. What do you think about this Saturn and Aries opposition to a sun and moon? And what do you think that's going to spell for Libras, Libra risings, and Libra moons moving forward? Peace.